What's up, everybody? How you doing? There's nobody in here yet, but I can still say hi. Wait a few seconds for some people to show up, get my affairs in order, get the box score lined up. For you, those of you who are watching the live replay, you'll be like, come on, man, you're wasting my time. And I am. I'm absolutely wasting your time. Um, Might as well start talking, though. Mariners win 6-3. They complete the sweep of the Oakland Athletics. To say they dominated the year against the Oakland Athletics, you can't be hyperbolic with how much better the Seattle Mariners are than the Oakland Athletics this year. And they showed it. Let's go over the scoring plays very quickly. Dominic Canzone absolutely destroys a homer in the second inning to score. Ty France makes it 2-0, excuse me. It becomes 2-1 in the fourth because Zach Geloff connects on a homer to center. You had to come away impressed with Geloff in the series. I know I am. Fifth inning, another guy who's pretty impressive hits a home run. His name is Julio Rodriguez. 3-1, Big Dumper goes back-to-back with our sweet, sweet Julio. That makes it 4-1. Dominic Canzone doubles in a couple as well in that inning. A huge fifth inning to break this thing open. 6-1. Brent Rooker does homer off of George Kirby to make it 6-3. A two-run homer because you guys are good at math. But that's it. That's all there is. Mariners get the win. Mariners get the sweep. Mariners remain a half game back of the American League West lead because Baltimore does blow a late lead. For those of you who are joining us live, if you would I would really appreciate you hitting like and hitting the subscribe button if you haven't. Really helps the channel. There's only a few of you watching so far right now. Totally understand. But yeah, and before we get into the positives and negatives about this game, let's thank the good people of Simply Seattle. Simply Seattle has the absolute best in Seattle sports gear. You can find stuff that is great for the Mariners, the Seahawks, the Kraken, the Sonics, the Storm, the Sounders, Huskies, Cougars, FC Ballard, a whole bunch of really great stuff, Tacoma Rainier stuff. And you got hats, you got hoodies, you got jackets, you got shirts, you got original stuff. I love the Julio Phenom. I love the Big Dumper t-shirt. I love the Griffey logo, man. Everything is so awesome there. And once you find all your good stuff, use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15% off of your order. That's one word, MOLLYWHOP15. Very much appreciate the good people of Simply Seattle for sponsoring the show. They're the best. And yeah, it's good stuff. Also, good stuff is sweeping baseball teams. Yeah, Oakland's just hot garbage. And as our good buddy Bill just put, a W is a W is a W. Yeehaw. Had to have it. Basically had to sweep this series in order to stay in the division race. And they did just that. They did just that. Unfortunately, they don't get any help today. Baltimore was up 1-0 in the eighth inning. Unfortunately, Astros get the last two. I think Boston had like a 3-0 lead at the end of the first inning and then end up losing 15-5, something along those lines. That didn't help, but you know, it is what it is. And the last time I checked, Toronto was leading New York. Yep, still 1-0 at the end of the fourth inning. We'll definitely be paying close attention to this one. Negatives. GP had a rough one. It happens. Ty France, another hitless game, but does score a couple of runs. Josh Rojas, a little bit of a rough one. Teoscar gets a hit, but he strikes out 3 times. It wasn't the best offensive effort from him. Really wasn't the best offensive effort from the middle of the order, except for Big Dumper, who is just awesome. And we'll talk about him in the positives for sure. Pitching wise, I don't think there's any negatives. Certainly don't think this was George Kirby at his absolute best, but he battled. He got the job done. He gives you 7 strong innings. Outside of one pitch, I thought he was pretty good. And look, Zach Geloff, man, Zach Geloff is really good. And then also Rooker hits that home run in the 6th as well. You know, thankfully the Mariners have that nice 5th inning, so it means less. Like, outside of those 2 pitches, I thought this was a pretty strong start from Kirby. Threw a ton of strikes. Mostly had good command. One of those pitches may be a mistake, but not a huge one. A good job by them hitting those pitches out of the park. Like, it happens. It happens. And luckily, the Mariners got some good run support. I've been encouraged what I've seen from Kirby over these last 2 starts. Positives offensively, Julio scorched that homer. I think he also reached hit by pitch. Hopefully he's okay. He said his hand is fine. The teams are just pounding that guy inside right now, just throwing inside fastballs to him all day and night. And he's going to have to make an adjustment and make sure he's able to keep himself healthy. That's just the way teams are attacking him right now. And I get it. You want to go high and tight with that fastball and then low and away with that slider. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. I won't finish that because then I can't monetize this video. Really nice job by Munoz. Liked that usage of him. That was the high leverage situation. Get that done. Topod didn't have great command. 3-run lead gets the job done. You'll take 9 innings of 3-run baseball and a couple of shutout innings from your bullpen. Absolutely you will. Absolutely you will. All right, let's look and see if we have any questions. Do Mariners seriously look at upgrading first base in the offseason, or do you think they'll try and platoon it between Evan Light and France like they wanted to do this year? I'm not so sure they really did want a platoon, to be honest, Justin. I think they were trying to sell some trade value there with Evan White because that contract, while the Mariners are not going to file for Chapter 11 because of it, that contract's not good. It's dead weight. It's just not a positive thing. Nobody wants Evan White. Do I think that I could see a platoon between Ty France and somebody else? Yes, 100%. 100%. I don't think Julio's about to look poor, Bill. I get what you're saying, and I saw your comment about the concentration thing. I respectfully disagree. I think that at times he tries to do too much. I don't think it's a lack of concentration. I think it's a case of him just not letting the game always come to him. Maybe even focusing a little bit too hard. Like that play in the outfield, again, Bill, love you. Respectfully disagree. I don't think he took his eye off of it. I think he just ran down a baseball that like 3 outfielders can get to. And he had some really good at-bats the other night where he works to full count, and the result's just not there. He pounded a line drive that was directly at a third baseman. I might be a little bit of a Julio apologist, just to be honest with you. I think I've been critical of him when I had to be critical of him. But I don't think they look poor. I think that he is going to have to make an adjustment to these high and tight fastballs, though. Absolutely, we do agree there. To answer your question, though, Justin, I guess I didn't. Yes, I could see a platoon situation. If they bring France back, maybe you sign somebody to that $7 or $8 million deal that's your first baseman against right-handers. Maybe they bring Mike Ford back to be something like that. Ty France cannot be your starting first baseman next year, barring a huge improvement in the postseason. He cannot be your first baseman. Probably have to go at least 6-4 over the next 10 to get in. 6-4 probably gets you into the postseason. I don't think it wins you the division, although it kind of depends on where your 6 wins come from, right? Like if you sweep the Astros and then you go 3-4 against Texas, that might be good enough. That might be good enough. It's worth pointing out that Houston plays Arizona to end the year. Arizona is a pretty good baseball team, and Arizona is going to be battling for wild card positioning. That matters. They had an extremely fortunate schedule early on. It's not that fortunate anymore. I think they maybe have a crap show coming up. I can't remember. If somebody could look that up and tell me. Yeah, Bill, I again agree to disagree. I think it was just a case of just not quite getting there. But yeah, kind of out of left field, pun intended. That automatically makes this a good comment. But what is Taylor Trammell's future with the Mariners? Seems like part of a package with young pitcher for an upgrade somewhere. I don't think Taylor Trammell has huge trade value, but I also don't think the Mariners want to give this guy away. Like, I think it should be fairly obvious they don't because of the amount of people that they have designated for assignment over the last year and a half or so. So they're not giving up on him. Yeah, the Astros still have Kansas City for 3 games, and that's, I believe, what's coming up next. Hopefully the Astros don't sweep and can just take 2 of 3, and you're only a game back. You know, That's the ultimate goal, is to be a game back. But to answer your question, I'm sorry, I get so distracted by this stuff. To answer your question, I think Taylor Trammell does make sense as a trade thing, but you'd probably have to attach, like, to get anything of value, one of your better starting pitching prospects. I do think, like, and this is irresponsible trade stuff, if you put together a package of Taylor Trammell and Emerson Hancock and one of your young infielders, not talking about like the big guys, not talking about uh, Colt Emerson or Cole Young or even a Michael Arroyo. I'm talking about like the middle guys, like Axel Sanchez or something like that. You could probably get a good little piece, and that would be dealing from depth. That would be dealing from depth. Oh, man. I can't get over just how much the Mariners dominated Oakland over these series. And Oakland does have some interesting young players, more so than, like, Zach Geloff looks like a star. He's not this good, but you see that that's a building block for them. I think Brent Rooker has the potential to be a nice little complimentary piece. I think Tyler Soderstrom is better than the numbers he's put up. Lawrence Butler has a chance to be a decent little thing. But man, that team overall is just, it's the worst roster I've seen from a Major League Baseball team. And I got to watch quite a bit of the 2003 Detroit Tigers. I got to watch them quite a bit. And you're very welcome, Josh. Thank you for the question. Who are the free agents to M should be in serious discussion after the season? Please don't say Ohtani. I'm going to say Ohtani. They should absolutely be in discussion for him. It's not going to happen. I'm hope it's a freezing cold take. Shohei Ohtani's going to play somewhere else. But the players that they should be discussing, you know, I would be looking at Matt Chapman. I would be looking at Blake Snell. I'd be looking at, there's some good stuff out there. They should be in on everybody. They need to add to the middle of the order, and I think they need to add another starter too. They have some depth, no question about it, and they should have better injury luck than they had this year. But you got to get more star talent in order to keep up with these great teams. You should be in on pretty much everybody. Everyone's saying it's just the A's, doesn't matter, wins are wins. Yeah, I totally agree with that. It would be nice to see this team win a series against a team with the winning record. Don't get me wrong. They have not done that since August 18th through August 20th. But wins are wins. We're not complaining. We're not offering these wins back. They need them. Everybody else has a chance to play them a lot. Everybody else has a chance to play with a balanced schedule. Everybody. Do you think Ryan Bliss could be a possibly postseason addition to the roster? P.S. I'm a huge Ryan Bliss fan. Same, probably not, though. I don't think that they would add him just yet. I think they feel more confident going with the second base rotation that they have right now. Injury could change that, but I think you're probably not going to see Ryan Bliss play until 2024, barring something bad happening to like a Dylan Moore, a Josh Rojas, or a Jose Caballero. At least the free agent market, this is crap outside of Ohtani and Snell, since we like to draft and trade as opposed to Young and getting a Corey Seager type. Yeah, it's not a great free agent class. It's not a great free agent class. What is Teoscar going to get on the open market this winter in a weak offensive class? I think quite a bit, especially with how well he's played mostly for the second half of the season. And his previous success as well. Teams are going to look at the fact that he's still making a lot of hard contact. Teams are going to look at the fact that he's had a lot of success in this league. I think you're talking about a pretty big contract. I don't think it's going to be with the Mariners. I just don't. I will say this. If I'm the Seattle Mariners, I am definitely offering that qualifying offer. If he wants to come back for 1 year and 17, 18, 19, whatever the heck it is, I'm okay with that. I am A-okay with that because I'm not 100% sure how you can upgrade on what he gave you. Not 100% sure. I'm going to send out real quick a little link telling some people on the Twitter box that I am live right now, just because, a lot of people don't know. So this is going to be exciting. I'm going to talk through it so that it's not just dead air. Show you some baseball cards I got today. I was actually pretty happy for it after especially the crap show that I had during the live stream a couple days ago. Live now, come join us! Exclamation points. Control V, post. So yeah, I'll show you what I got. So I bought a set of Immaculate Panini. These are non-licensed cards, so they don't have the same value as like Topps or Bowman, but they're pretty nice. And I'll go in order of what I think are the worst cards. It's an autographed Cade Doughty with a nice little jersey piece there. It's a pretty card. Doughty's kind of a backup infield prospect. Colson Montgomery. Look at those patches. Isn't that pretty? That's numbered to 25. Nice little card. Jordan Walker to 10. 10 out of 10. Nice little patch there. Unfortunately, this card is a redemption, but I don't know if you can see that or not. It's Brooks Lee. It's one of the better shortstop prospects. And then the final two, I think are really nice. This is Zach Geloff, we were just talking about. Triple relic right there. Pretty nice one. And then finally, a top 5 prospect in baseball, Junior Caminero. It's a pretty solid box, yeah? I was happy with it. I was really happy with it. I'm nervous because Texas offense looks like it's firing on all cylinders coming into the series. How do you think Miller and Wu do in their starts versus the Rangers' biggest starts of their careers? Yeah, I mean, understatement of understatement that they're the biggest starts of their career, right? Like, these are honestly, if we're just being flat out honest, the next 10 games are the biggest starts, I think, of every Seattle Mariner, at least in terms of regular season stuff. Like, you're talking about it's impossible to simulate this type of pressure. Now, Castillo's had bigger starts because he started 2 games in the postseason. Gilbert has started a game in the postseason. Actually, did he start 2? Yeah, he probably started 2. Anyway, in terms of regular season games, these are the biggest games in Seattle Mariner recent history since at least 2002. So yeah, I'm not sure what to expect from them. And it is fair that Texas is starting to hit the baseball really well. I think you got to get the bullpen ready to roll. You might have to use some of the high leverage guys in early situations just to make sure that you don't fall out of it. It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. Hopefully the Mariner offense comes to play too. And Texas isn't pitching all that well right now. Nathan Eovaldi has not looked like the same guy. Jordan Montgomery's had his hits and miss. No more Max Scherzer. You know, I trust the Mariner offense against guys like Martin Perez. And yeah. And the bullpen's been a disaster for them. But there's no doubt they can hit. There's no doubt that offensively, that's as good of a team in my humble estimation in baseball. Speaking of Jordan Walker, that 2020 draft class is incredible. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, they did well. This was not a great year for them, but they've got a pretty bright future, I think, still. They've got to address the pitching. But man, oh man, do they have a bright future ahead of them. Again, I'll remind everybody to please hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel so much. All you got to do is hit a little thumbs up button. I know I'm sorry to make you do a little extra work, but it helps me out a lot because the algorithm, when they see the liked videos and stuff, it's more likely to show up on that little feed on the bottom. So yeah, if you haven't hit like yet, I would very much appreciate you doing so. What 2 M's do you expect to get hot during the next 10 games at the Dish? That's a really good question. I'm going to say Big Dumper. And I'm going to say Big Dumper for sure. And I'm going to say Suarez. I'm going to say Suarez finishes with a nice little flourish. I can't count on Ty France. I think Julio will do what Julio has been doing most of the year. I think JP will be doing what he's been doing for most of the year. But I think Big Dumper and I think Suarez are going to go on a hot little run here. Was nice to see him drive the baseball today. I mean, he hasn't been bad, but there's no doubt that Raleigh's had a little bit of contact issues as of late. I just trust him so much. It's weird, but he takes such good at bats, even when he strikes out. Like, he makes you work. He sees everything. So those are the two I would bet on. I wish I could bet on France. I wish I could bet on, Mike Ford or someone like that, but I'll go with those two. I think those are the two that are going to be the hottest. So I think the only team ahead of the Mariners that plays tomorrow, and by the way, the Blue Jays still leading 1-0, middle of the 6th inning. Come on, Yankees. Come on, score some runs, please. I know I want to win the division and all that stuff, but it would be nice to know that if you don't, you can get the wild card still. But I think Toronto, New York is the only team that's playing of the teams that are ahead of you. So be paying close attention to that. I'm just so nervous for this. I'm excited nervous, but aren't you guys nervous too? Like, it's cool that you control your own destiny. Like, these are the teams ahead of you. These are the teams you have to beat. But also, it's like, this is a lot of responsibility. This is a lot of pressure. I don't like responsibility and pressure. I get enough of that having just babysit. I don't want to have it with the Mariners too. Gosh. By the way, with that home run, Julio Rodriguez now leads all of baseball in home runs to the opposite field. That's pretty crazy. What is your view of JK's performance after the IL stint? I thought he looked really good yesterday. And he had actually a pretty good game against the Angels as well. No, it was against the Dodgers. I'm sorry. Los Angeles. Same thing. But there's been some issues. The changeups are clearly getting to him. I don't think he's necessarily recognizing pitches particularly well right now. Looks good defensively. Looks more mobile. I was a little concerned watching some of those highlights, suggesting that maybe he wasn't quite healthy. But watching him run now, I think he's pretty good. I think he's pretty solid. After Luis Torrens wins ILCS and World Series MVP, do they immediately put him in the Mariner Hall of Fame or wait a little bit? That's the ultimate question, is how long do you wait to put him in the Hall of Fame? Like, how soon do you put him in Cooperstown? Like, now? You might as well just make the plaque now. How do you work in both Kelnick and Canzone going forward? Do you keep Kelnick in for defense and DH, Canzone, or play Canzone and Kelnick in the outfield and DH? Teo going forward, Ford shouldn't be a starter. I agree with that latter point for sure. Yeah, I think that Dominic Canzone would probably be my DH. It's not great to say, but Teoscar is a better defender, I think, than Canzone. Canzone's made some really nice catches, but it's been more of the making the routine look spectacular than the spectacular looking routine. He's just not a good defensive player. That's why I would really consider moving him to first base. And he's played it before. He played it at Ohio State, played it in the Arizona Fall League. He's played it some in the minors. There's no reason I think that he can't be a decent little first base option. Now, I'm not saying that you move him to the middle of the order. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that if you upgrade elsewhere, then I think Canzone can be a decent little platoon first baseman with France. And I wonder how much they've thought about that. They're not dumb. Sometimes they're very cheap, but they're not dumb. Yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. It's a little bit of a shorter one. I kind of expected that. Like, we went live at a weird time. I wish I could have went live right after the game, but had to watch my nieces. The nieces are more important. I love you guys, but it goes grandma, nieces, mom. Nah, mom's up there too. The family, and then it's you guys. And someday I'll have real friends and they can be pretty close. But for now, that's the order. Thank you, Trevor. Appreciate that. I might go live tomorrow, just like have a little chat with you guys, talk about some stuff. I have a couple of boxes of cards maybe I could open as well while we're talking. I appreciate that, Justin. I appreciate you guys all coming out. Like it really does mean a lot. Before you go, if you don't mind hitting that like button, I'd really appreciate it. One final question here. Who are two starters the M's will trade in the offseason? Are you talking starting pitchers or are you talking hitters? So I will guess that they trade one starting pitcher and one hitter. I will guess that they will trade Ty France, and I will guess that they trade Brian Will. That's my guess. That is my guess. Verlander versus Castillo Monday. Ooh. Oh, man. Am I thinking about doing a watch party or anything for some of these final home games? Yes. We will definitely do something along those lines. We will not for the postseason because I will be watching those games with Grandma. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and you guys convinced me that watching the games with Grandma is absolutely the right decision. We will go live right after the postseason games, and I'm saying when, not if the postseason, when they go live after. We will go live right after. But for the regular season stuff, I'll probably go live for the Final Four. The final four games, and maybe I'll go live during a few of them too, just because, it sounds fun. I just got to be really careful about not having volume on because I need to monetize anything I do. But yeah, really appreciate everybody checking this stuff out. Probably see you tomorrow. If not, I will definitely see you Friday after a Mariner victory over the Texas Rangers. Be well, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.